Thank you guys all for joining in. I would ask that everybody, if it's possible, to have your cameras on. It really helps the presenters to connect, and it's just good Zoom etiquette. So if you are in the position to put on your camera, please do. And again, thank you all for jumping in tonight. I'm so excited. I'm excited just more so because I've seen the way at first when AI came out, I was very anti and I thought, oh, we're going to automate ourselves out of business. And I had all these prejudice against it. And then I jumped into one of my coaching calls, and the coach said, I need you to start using AI in the same fashion that you would use Google, because that's the way of the future. And it will be the way that we thought about internet when it was coming out, like everybody was adverse to it. And so when I started jumping into it and utilizing it, I'm like, probably a year behind everybody, but I'm like, wow, this is magic. Wow. And of course, with Chelsea and Rachel behind the helm of it, who have really spearheaded and utilized all the tools, which they're going to share with you tonight, we've been able to build out some amazing framework. We've been able to really do things at such an accelerated pace that I don't think would be possible before. So tonight we'll be diving into all the topics about the tools we're using, the ones we're not using, and why, how to get your business ranked at the top of those AI search engines, and how important that's going to be moving forward. So that's really exciting stuff. And the part I'm most excited about is just framework, but I'm going to leave it mostly to Chelsea and Rachel because they are the magicians behind. But I want to open it up to you guys and just get a little bit of input about where you're at with AI and what you're using or not using, just so we get an idea. So, who's going to be the first jump in volunteer?
I can.
Thank you.
So I have been using AI for my listing descriptions for a while, which is so helpful because I used to hate writing them like crazy. And now they just sound beautiful. And I don't care if they sound like everybody else's, they're beautiful. And then also now like starting to use it a little bit more, even just to ask general questions for my posts to create more engagement and more meaning behind the graphic. I'm using it for that. I too was a little like, holy camole, like what's going to happen with this AI stuff? But now I think it's a really powerful tool if used properly. And I'm excited to learn more from you guys tonight.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Yeah, I can share what we're doing on AI. I'm creating, I don't know what's the word in English, so I'm going to try to explain what I'm doing, but basically I'm asking AI how I can automize everything. So I'm asking him, I'm saying him like if it's a man, sometimes it's a man, depending, sometimes it's a woman, but basically I'm asking AI, what could I do to make things easier, let's say for my accounting. So I'm working on something right now that will make it that I won't have to go inside my bank account to send the information to my accountant. Like it's going to build a bridge between the bank and send it directly to my accountant. So I'm working on a couple of things like that to make sure that everything is automized. But we have a CMA here that we're using. It's called Ava Client, and they're using a lot of AI, which like it's done automatically. So let's say I receive a lead and it's asking me information about a property. I can, with this platform, it's just going to send them an email saying, thank you so much for your interest, blah, blah, blah. And because of the new law in Quebec, they're going to talk about buyer representation. And, you know, there's a bunch of things. And then it's going to give them the link to the listing. So within the CMA, there's a lot of AI activation that they already did. So it's very interesting.
Awesome. Has anybody popped their calendar into AI and had to do an audit for you?
Oh no.
That was a new little thing that I learned last week. And I just said, can you please take a look at my 2 week calendar and tell me where I could clean this up? And my AI says, oh, Jenny. But I won't dive too much into that. I don't want to steal the show from Rachel and Chelsea. So thank you all. At the end of Rachel and Chelsea talking, I encourage any questions in the chat. We'll moderate that. And at the end, any contributions. So I feel like we can all learn together on what we're using and not using. So contribution is always key. And without further ado, I'm going to let Rachel and Chelsea take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. Jen actually doesn't give herself enough credit on the way that she uses AI because one of the biggest things is the frameworks and brainstorming, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit more. I might have you chime in then. But yeah, Valerie, that was like a genius idea to have it kind of act as an automations specialist. Is that kind of, yeah, that's like next level stuff, I think. We used to have to use, I can't think of the name of the program, it was Zapier that used to do it. So is it kind of taking place of Zapier?
Well, basically and I'm working on it. So I'll be able to give
Yeah.
you a bit more information within the next couple of weeks because I'm working on the prompts. So it will create an AI agent that will do
Ah,
it for me.
yes.
Mhm.
So this is like a whole new terrain for me as well. And there's like APIs and all of these little programs that kind of talk to each other and allow everything to link together. It's like, it's to me one of the most exciting parts of AI. And it's what kind of takes it beyond just being another Google for us. But yeah, so I kind of want to dive into, I have a few topics I want to chat about, but I think Chelsea has one of the biggest things that you're going to want to tune in for. She'll be talking about how to get your business to rank on the AI search sites. So if you take anything away, to me, that is the most important thing that we kind of lean into right now because we can use all of this technology, but we have to be able to make it work in our favor too and see that like the landscape's changing. So, but I'm gonna save that for in a little bit. But yeah, so AI for me, I started using it kind of before the big language models were getting more popular. It was a photography tool for me. So back when I had my photography business, we would do all of our retouching by hand. And these AI tools, I don't know if there's any photographers on the chat here, but this company out of Estonia developed all of these retouching tools, and they used AI technology to basically make your photos look flawless in the time that like I couldn't do it that quickly nor that well. So the cool thing is it's kind of a lot of these AI tools are making our work better. Sometimes they're making it a little bit worse, but I'll get into that in a bit. But so I started off with retouch for me, and Adobe Photoshop actually had a lot of like some of the first generative AI for images. But we have like a lot of other things that have come out that are much cheaper and they're all done in the cloud now. Like initially, we had to do all the processing on our computers and it was really tech heavy. But because of that, like you can just do a lot of this with your laptop. So it kind of frees up the hardware from like you don't have to buy an expensive computer to implement a lot of these tools now, which is pretty wild for me as somebody that had to invest like thousands and thousands of dollars into hardware to get these tools to operate. So this has been a very exciting time. Um, Now, the big thing that most of you are probably, would you say that a lot of you are using AI kind of like as a Google search? Like hands up if that's, yeah. Now, who here is using it as a brainstorming partner, like into those language models? Yeah. So, with the language models, so the language models, if everyone kind of, I think, what would you say is your like your knowledge of AI in general? Does anyone want to jump in on kind of where they're at for like knowledge of it? Like, are you using it every
Very little.
very little? Okay. I want to make sure this is tailored to everyone. So, so very little. Who's kind of using AI in some capacity on a daily basis? Like thumbs up. Yeah. Looks like a lot of you, yeah. Maybe we can drop it in the chat if you are. Just a thumbs up. So, the language models are kind of the thing that have taken over. Yeah. So, like we talked about, like captions or like listing descriptions. So just kind of a quick explainer on how things like ChatGPT, Claude, and things like that work. They're really just predictive text, only really sophisticated. But if anyone remembers on their phones how like predictive text would work, it would try to guess what the next phrase. That's essentially what these language models are. And you can use that to your advantage because if you kind of think about how to prompt these language models, it's really just trying to prompt it into a certain direction. Um, so understanding kind of how that works will help you to get better results out of the tools. A lot of people are really familiar with ChatGPT. Yeah, like thumbs up if that's you. That's probably like the most commonly used. Um, and of course, there's Claude and Gemini, Copilot. Yeah, a lot of thumbs up for sure. So, I was kind of chatting about Jen using it as like a structure and like an idea development. So these tools can go beyond just like writing captions for our Instagram and things like that. We can actually use them like I don't know about anybody, but I talk into my phone and just like brainstorm with it. Yeah. So, something that I've tried is just refining ideas. Like if you're have a busy mind and you're an idea person, is anyone else like that? Yeah. You can use the language models as a great way to just kind of organize your thoughts, create a structure for things. Even for presentations like this, I totally popped all of my ideas into chat and we organized a structure so that we can explain things in a clear way that's not like my busy mind's all over the place. But there's so many uses for that, even so far as like building out courses, building out your client experience is another way to kind of standardize processes in your business. And it's just as simple, like I think we tend to overcomplicate it. We don't have to type in or be formal, especially with like ChatGPT. You can just literally dictate right into the device and it will help you to kind of just organize and formulate things. Um, One thing that I have noticed is for me, it helps me with writing video scripts. I started using this just to get me on camera more because I'm kind of more of a shy person. And it helped me to stop overthinking my reels and all my video content and just help me to get everything kind of mapped out. So I would come up with an idea for a reel, and I've shared this with some of you. I would just pull out my phone and say, "Hey, chat, got an idea for a reel. Can you help me write a 60-second script?" And then I would tell a story. And then it would take that story and put it into a more like logical format. So I'm not jumping all over the place. And I found that really helped me to push more content out because it kind of took away the double, like second guessing myself a lot. So I highly recommend you use some sort of a language model for script writing if you're someone who's more shy. Yes, Jen.
I think Valerie jumped in and asked the question, what is a language model?
So our language models, they're different from like our image-based programs. I mean, Gemini kind of does both, but it's ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, anything where you're prompting like through a chat and getting a written answer returned. And there's some that are more like they'll do multiple things. Chat's now obviously doing images, and Gemini, you can get videos from it, but that's kind of the general idea for the language models. So it's kind of based on a very sophisticated version of predictive text on your phone. It's the same idea, which is kind of cool that it's gone that far. So, one other thing Chelsea has been experimenting with is coding. So, and Claude is apparently the best for this, but Chelsea, you've had some experience with coding, like basically adding some style to our website without
Mhm.
any knowledge of code.
Yes, I have zero coding knowledge. Um, but also it's nice to have a visually beautiful website. So I thought I would just see if it could help. We had a few things on our webpage we weren't quite sure how to fix. And so I just started talking to ChatGPT, and it started giving me code and telling me where to put it on the website. And it worked really well. So and through doing that, I kind of learned a little bit of the coding language and am better able to refine it. And I started to know what to look for, which was kind of neat. But yeah, it's super helpful just in general problem solving, I personally find. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you said it best, like in terms of problem solving, like you can just, if you have a problem, it's like what we used to do with
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just type it out into chat and or whoever,
Mm-hmm.
Claude, Gemini, whatever your favorite one is, and get some answers. So in terms of the language models, we've had a lot of good success with ChatGPT, and I think part of that is we've been using it for so long that it learns your behaviors. We have dabbled with Claude. I do use Gemini more than I used to. But you'll find, or who is finding that like you having some difficulty switching between language models because you're just so accustomed to, yeah, yeah. I don't think we're the only ones. Um,
I feel
My
like it'd be like getting to know another, having to get to know another person altogether.
it definitely feels like that.
my chat GPT knows the name of my daughters. So
Yes.
sometimes, yeah, sometimes I'm gonna say, oh, I want to write. The other day I said, oh, I just want to write an uplifting message for my daughter who's at work right now, and it says, and it answered, Alexia is at work, and then and I was like, oh my God. So yes, it's very intelligent.
It's wild, isn't it? Yeah. It's really cool. And I've got some more info on how to kind of, I don't know if anyone else has found this, but sometimes it knows so much about you that for us writing for multiple people, it knows a little too much. So I have a trick for that, which I will share. Another piece of uh, technology, I guess you call it. But so one thing though, and I'm curious to know if anyone else has noticed the telltale signs of AI that are like, that was written by AI. And how does everyone feel about that? Like when you see an obviously written caption by AI, what are your thoughts? I want you to
Well,
pop them in the chat or jump
oh,
in.
can I say it? Okay. So
Yeah.
I know when an email starts with, I hope this email finds you well, that it was generated by AI. You almost got a spit take there.
I almost.
Um, but so what that says to me is if I get an email with that, it says to me that the person sending it did not proofread this because I'm going to delete that every single time if I have an AI model write me an email.
Yep.
Hmm.
Anyone else care to share?
Well, I usually start my emails like that. So if it comes from me, I swear to you it wasn't ChatGPT or I'm that brilliant. I don't know, either one. But
So that means
nonetheless,
it's scraping from you.
yeah,
It's
maybe.
scraping from you, Jackie.
I was a trendsetter before I knew it.
That's right.
But yeah, so sorry. That's all I wanted to say. I don't
I
really
see
have
the M dashes in the comments here. M dashes, which is funny because I also used to write with a lot of M dashes. Do you know what I mean by that? Those little lines? Yeah, I'm getting a lot of nodding heads. Yeah, that's a telltale sign. We're going to delve into the details. That's always to me. It's not this, it's that. Like I always see that in AI writing. The little rocket ships, I always kind of know. Yeah.
That, and for us it's a bit different because we're bilingual, right?
Yes.
So it's harder to notice, but when I see that someone has used AI, I think it comes more for me. I'm like, oh, that person really care, like they're really trying to deliver something. So it doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah.
It's
I,
just that I wish, like Ben was saying, that they would just proofread it a bit and make it their own and take out the dash and the in French, it's the three dots. There's always three dots, and I'm like, I never wrote like that in French. Why are you putting three dots everywhere? Like, so it's just that. But for the rest, I'm like, oh, they're trying, they're trying to get better. So I'm seeing
yeah.
it as a positive.
Yeah.
I
Jen,
have an opposite. Well, it's not an opposite. I think it depends if it's coming to me from somebody that I personally know, and it would be one-on-one communication. I had a friend send me an email and it was in a completely different language than she would ever speak to me. And I was like, what are you doing? But in more like a group or a batch, I don't mind because it is the thought, but personal, I don't want my friends communicating with me with chat.
yeah. I think it's just something to keep in mind, and I think it's worthy of, just be mindful of like not overusing AI, but I think eventually it's going to be like a type of social grace, like a new type of manners we're going to have to learn, like navigating this whole world. There's like etiquette, I think is the word I'm looking for. There's going to be a whole new set of rules and etiquette around this that will take shape. So I'm just interested to see how that will play out. And I also think that it encourages us as business owners, content creators to prompt our AI better, think of different ways to just generate different responses. And there are some ways that we can help with that. I have a few prompts that I'm going to have available for download. We also have a few ways to kind of clean up your copy or edit it a little bit that we can pass along. One of the big ones is creating avatars for your AI. So having a set of documents that you can actually have AI, your language model, help you write. And using that to prompt, it will define your business, the kind of goals and objectives of your business. And this is an internal document that you wouldn't share with clients, but it's just helps you understand who your ideal client is. It's all the stuff that we kind of learn in marketing, all of that ideal client avatar stuff. And then we're defining some case studies and different things that really allow the AI to kind of target at stuff. I use prompt like, right, more human like. Yes. Yes, that's a great prompt. Oh, we have another person joining us. I'm just going to let Bev in. Charming, serene, elevated, nestled. Those are some words that Tracy popped in to define obviously written AI. Yeah, so these are some things to consider when we're using it. I think it's allowed us as a department to like put out more content and help more people, but we also have to be mindful of how we're using it so that we just marketing, take all the thoughts and feelings about AI out of it. You want to stand out. Like that's the bottom line. So if your copy sounds like everybody else's copy because they're all putting it through an AI model, it's going to be not effective because it's going to sound like a sea of sameness. So thoughts and feelings out of it, that's the bottom line. Jacqueline, I spent almost a day answering a lot of questions by speech and text to make it learn my language so it sounds like me and my tone. That's awesome. I love that idea. Which AI model is this? Yeah, that's a good question. Um, Image creation. Are you guys good to move on to image creation? We can kind of talk about that a little bit, or does anyone have any more questions about language models and things like that? Because I'd love to hear it. Feel free to jump in or pop it in the chat. Okay. So image creation, this was huge do you remember like it was a sea of like weird, creepy AI face pictures? Like, do you remember that? It was like last year or the year before, maybe it was even longer ago. But it's come a long way. Like it's kind of nuts how you can have the language model, not the language models, the AI. There's like Nano Banana now, and like all these different, anyways, um, all these different generative image tools, and you can like put in the kind of lens that, as a photography person, I geek out on this, the kind of lens, the sort of film it was shot on, and you can have it produce a pretty like amazing image based on that. But the thing that we've been using it for is just for some of the real estate photos. You can clean up some of the things that need to, like, it will remove things from the image that shouldn't be there, that like could be removed physically but didn't. Um, you can kind of take the snow out of the photos as well, which is kind of nice for a season change. I feel like that one's really useful. Just pop your image into Gemini, it'll put it through there. And some people have been using it for virtual staging. You do have to disclose that, but it's kind of a cool thing if you have a vacant home and it's not in the client's budget to stage the home. You can help with people's imagination. It's kind of cool for social media too, just to get some interest on it. There's even ways to take your images into Gemini and create a video with the images that can be used, and it's kind of cool. We've even had some agents use Sora to create some like funny skits that they don't have to film. And they're just really goofy reels that are silly. Oh, do you have to say virtually staged with AI or just virtually staged? I think you just have to say virtually staged. Yeah. You might want to check into that though, because I'm not a realtor. So maybe someone can chime in with that. But yeah, it seems like it's everywhere. But yeah, Sora is like a part of ChatGPT and it does videos, and you can prompt it to make an AI character of you. And we have one agent who's been doing that, and it's just hilarious to see her. This is just for funny stuff. And it gets a lot of attention and eyeballs, and it's kind of fun marketing if you don't take it too seriously. Yeah. The other thing too is you can expand images. We do that a lot. Like if we need more sky in the picture just for design reasons, we use AI for that all the time. It's like such a game changer. So if you have like a house and you need a tall picture instead of like a wide one that they use on the MLS listings, we will actually pop that into Adobe Generative AI and ask it to make it longer, and it will add more sky into the picture, which you can totally do that because like sky is sky. You're not putting anything fake in there. It's just more sky. And it just gets our proportions right. So we can put that out on our socials and make it look really pretty and balanced. Um, yeah, repair backgrounds, add negative space. It does all of that. I'm looking at my notes here. Um, so AI for content creation. I was kind of excited to talk to you guys about this one because I just feel like this has been so fun for us. So I was talking about how ChatGPT, once it understands you, it kind of like knows your language and it always uses your voice. It's kind of sometimes you want to get away from that. There is another AI model called Notebook LM. Has anyone ever used it? No? It is so, so cool. It is another Google AI. I'm going to screen share because I just think this is the coolest thing. And it's great if you're out of content ideas, or if you're someone like Jen who does a lot of presentations, you can take your existing content and turn that into other pieces of content. So it's really helpful for that. So just allow me to share my screen here. Can everybody see that? Okay. So you need to check this out. Google Notebook LM. So all that you do is you you create a new notebook. This is actually intended to be a research tool to help people study. So it's able to, we don't want to get into the ethics of this, but but basically you can take any sort of an input, a video, a book, like there's so many different things you can use, pop it into this notebook. I did this with a course, Your Brain to Business, that Jen and I did. And you can add your sources, link it up, and it will extract all the information and summarize it. So we did a business presentation. So we had recorded those and uploaded them to YouTube. You could do this with meeting notes. You could do this with a slideshow or even another person's YouTube video on a topic that you want to talk about. You can pop it in here and ask it to summarize. And for us, it spit out a summary of everything. It made us like an infographic and a slideshow. So, we took the whole topic that was already in our head and we already knew about. And sorry, I'm just moving these slides here. It was able to create an entire presentation based on that, which I thought was really cool because you could use that as a downloadable piece. And I read it through and it accurately depict what we said. It didn't seem off or weird. But even if you don't use this for making content, it's just an amazing tool for understanding concepts. I was watching this show with my son, and do you remember? I don't know if anyone's heard of game theory before. I bet you Ben's heard of it. Yeah, he has another one called food theory, and my son loves to watch it. And they did a whole thing about McDonald's being a real estate empire, not actually a restaurant. And I was like, well, that's a cool content idea. So we just pop in the video and it summarized everything from the video. And you can take this information, plug that into like ChatGPT or another model, and use that to create some content for you, which I thought was really cool. And it has like flashcards, like if you do want to use it as like a study tool as well. But this was one of my favorite findings, and it's been super, super helpful. And I think after this presentation, I'll probably upload this and I can send you guys, some notes on our chat and keep it all summarized. It will do like flow charts and everything for you. So highly, highly recommend Notebook LM. And the cool thing is if you're someone that thinks of an idea really quickly, just pop it in your notes app and then like your notes app, not your notebook app. And then just make a note for you to plug it into Notebook LM, find some sources on the topic, and then you've got some content to put out or things you can chat on. You can ask it to write a script for you about that topic. So, and that controls the input. So it will only use the source you gave it. And so it will sound uniquely like that. It doesn't scrub the rest of the web like ChatGPT does. It only uses the sources provided. So it's kind of cool. So I guess I can stop sharing. So project management. Has anyone used any of the AI project management tools? I guess in a way, some of the why is this escaping me? Some like what's our project management software, Jen, that we use for leads and everything? Follow Up Boss. It's kind of like it kind of does that, has some of the features. We started using one in particular called ClickUp for our department, and the coolest thing for that is you don't have to take meeting notes anymore. And that sounds really minor, but we've gotten into the habit of every time we have a meeting, we record meeting notes from it. And the project management software allows us to create to-do lists for ourselves, action items. It's like the kind of thing, it seems like not a big deal, but it has been such a time saver for us because, it's just summarizing and extracting. And it's actually has the ability for us, once we review those notes, we can, with one click of a button, pop that into our to-do list items. And we have kind of a checklist flow that we use. And it's been amazing. But we use ClickUp, but I've heard really good things about Motion. And if you have Slack, there are some integrations that can be used for this purpose. But at a last resort, we will just grab ChatGPT, hit record, and tell Chat, hey, we're having a meeting. Can you please take minutes? And it will review your entire meeting, much like Zoom does. But you can just do that for live meetings, and it's amazing. Ben,
With ClickUp, would that be the kind of thing like that I could just have on my phone and put my phone on the table while I'm meeting with clients, have a conversation for 20 minutes or half an hour, and then it could give me a kind of a to-do list or summarize and build tasks from there? Is
yes,
that sort of an application for that?
yes, yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, it's really cool. It was one of the less expensive ones too.
Yeah, I'm really bad at taking good notes, so that would actually be really helpful.
It was cool, and there's a bunch. It's a beast of a project management software. We've only scratched the surface on what we can do with it, but it's all functions with AI. It has an AI brain, it calls it, which is kind of their version of ChatGPT. It's a little slow for some functions, but I would recommend it. I'm sure it's only going to get better. And it's good for time tracking too, because you can kind of use it for those things. Allows you to kind of see how long it takes you to do certain tasks. Okay, Chelsea, I've been very excited for you guys to hear about what she's been working on. This is all about AI search replacing traditional search. So, I don't know if any of you have spent thousands of dollars on SEO. I know there's some of you that have. I spent thousands of hours on SEO. It is time consuming. So basically, you're writing blogs, you're doing all of this stuff, backlinks, all that stuff. And now all of that is kind of changed a little bit from how it was before. And there was a time when you could kind of get away with doing certain things, but it's changed now. Chelsea, why don't you enlighten us?
Yeah. So who still does do searches on Google when you're looking for information? Anyone? Yeah, some people still Google. Okay. And who just asks ChatGPT or like one of the language models? Most, yeah. Yeah. So how people are searching for information, it is changing, and more people are having conversations with ChatGPT instead of Google. So if you aren't being shown in the AI search results in those conversations people are having, you almost don't exist anymore, right? It's so important that you show up in the AI conversations. So does anyone know the difference between SEO and GEO? No? So SEO, as Rachel said, it's search engine optimization. So that's all the work that like people were putting in to rank your web page on Google, right? That you Google best realtor in Woodstock and you have all the listings of people and everyone wanted to be number one on page one of Google. GEO is showing up in the AI generated answers. So in the conversations people are having on chat, I say chat because that's primarily what I use, but in any of them. So it's not just about driving traffic to your website, it's about the visibility of being on AI in those conversations. So how does AI decide who is there? So it picks people that it feels, or businesses that it feels are trustworthy, has very clear information, that it's consistent, that there's evidence that you actually do what you say you do, and with proof. So this means that you want to have a website. I think a lot of people got away from having websites and were using social media as their main web presence, but we're almost seeing like a comeback of websites and blogging again. Those things kind of people weren't prioritizing, but they're so important. So, and also having your Google My Business profile, and being consistent with the messaging across everything. So if you are on your web page, going after, I'm going to use real estate as an example because that's what I'm kind of familiar with here. But if you're talking about being a luxury real estate agent and you have a ton of reviews talking about how good you are with first-time home buyers, AI like sees that as like a weak signal, right? That you're saying one thing and you're saying this other thing too. So that really consistent messaging is important. So again, does anyone have a website? Are people still building websites? Yeah, a few people. So it should be really clear on your website what you do, who you help, where you work, and why you're different. Because if a human can't understand quickly those things, AI can't understand that either. So very clear those few things. And so on your website, you want to be creating helpful content. We do that a lot with blogging, and we do reuse a lot of the same content. So we'll make something on social media, we'll take that, we rework it into a blog post, and we throw it up there. So you want like not salesy blog posts. You want good, helpful information. So for real estate, like, should I wait or buy in today's market? Things like that provide good value for your clients, because AI is going to pull from that, and that will help with your ranking. And then reviews are also critical, because things like ChatGPT, they don't search Google reviews. So Google reviews also still really important, but it is important that you take those and you're putting them on your website as well, and not generic. So again, along the lines of if you are going after first-time home buyers, have reviews that relate to that on your website, and don't just put the like 2-line, this was really great service, would use again. Like, find the really good reviews, ask people to write reviews, they will do it. So, and get those really good ones on your website. We just kind of pepper them all over, and we find that helps a lot. But it is really important to be consistent with everything, kind of having that same messaging to build trust with the AI. But the cool thing is that this is such a good opportunity, because a lot of people, they gave up the website, they gave up blogging and all that. So we're like on the ground level again of being able to build that. I kind of had a fun experience today with just playing around with it, that our washing machine is broken and I need to buy a new one. And so I thought I would look up, where can I buy a washing machine in Oxford County? And like nothing came up on AI. Like, I don't think anyone selling appliances is doing this type of stuff. So I think that there's a lot of opportunities to capture that market, because we're not a big city. So if you're local to Woodstock, you're not a big city. But the other cool thing was, I also looked at where to find vegan food, and it gave actually good responses. And when I dug a little deeper, I found that the responses it gave, it was someone who was blogging and had a nice website. It was consistent. It had reviews on their website. So it just goes to show you that, like, if you put the work in, it will be returned to you. So, but yeah, I don't know if anyone has any questions about that. I just kind of rambled for a few minutes there, but
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just trying to find what I sent to you guys way back in November for realtors, particularly making sure that you have a profile on Reddit
Yeah.
is important. It was rank my agent was important.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to go back into our messages. So there, I'll pop it into the chat when I
Mhm.
find it. But just these really kind of smaller sites and making sure that you have a profile on there will help you rank in Google. So tonight that will be an actionable step to like get out there, put your profile on, spend a half hour everywhere you have a profile.
Question for you, Chelsea. Is it
Mhm.
good enough to have, I used to have it set up on my website that Google reviews would just pull in from Google. Is that
I
enough?
I think that you should have it like native to the website, if you will, not through a through a service. Yeah.
Gotcha. And is recency important? Like if it's like with Google, we were seeing like you had to constantly update, like weekly blogs were recommended. Do you still think
I
that's
would
a good idea?
imagine the more that you have on there, I mean, you could put for reviews, just put a hidden page on your website too,
Mhm.
because it will still read all of that. And so then you don't have to have like pages and pages and pages of reviews if you're not super techy. It's that's or like blog about them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
awesome.
sent those in the chat.
Those are amazing. And we did register for all of those.
Hmm.
And that might also have something to do with our success. So,
Yeah.
because we've had good luck with this approach. So, thank you, Chelsea.
Yeah. No problem.
Chelsea, I have a quick question for Chelsea. So I was one of those that dropped the website
Mhm.
because it didn't do anything for me. So if I'm starting fresh, going to what you just said, if I'm going to write some blog posts, for
Mhm.
example, it wouldn't be beneficial to put those blog posts on a different site like Blogger. I don't even know if that still exists, or like Substack, for example, to write blog posts and or like market updates or something like that on a different site, even though it's all my name and everything. Or do you think it should all be on like my website?
I mean, both isn't awful, but I'm not 100% sure. We can look into that. Um, I think it would depend on how AI is capturing, like, I don't know a whole lot. What you said, Substack?
Yeah.
I can answer that for you because I have someone working on that for us. Basically, what he was saying is that for Google to think that, and for ChatGPT to think that you're a trustworthy source, everything has to come back to your website. That's how you get more. I don't know how to say it in English, but I don't want to say more popular, but ChatGPT will think that you're doing it on your own and it's more how you call that
Organic.
organic. Thank you, Jen. She's connected to my French brain. So if because we had that problem, right, where I don't know how it works in Ontario, but we had agent website and then we had our agency website, and the blogs were coming from the agency website. So what it was doing is that it was putting our website at the very, very low in the being trustworthy for Google, because all the link to all the blogs were getting back to the agency website. So they explained to us that everything has to be organic on your website and nothing else. So this way, if somebody, I don't know, search for problem Woodstock water infiltration, it's going to go directly to your website and not to the blogger that you were talking about. So it has to relate directly to your website, if it makes sense the way I said it.
It
That
does.
makes sense.
Makes sense.
Well, on that note, I found a very cool tool that I started to play with. Um, it's kind of an AI assistant. Valerie was kind of touching on that as well. Has anyone tried any of these AI assistants? It was mind-blowing to me. I didn't end up subscribing just yet, but I gave it a week to try. And we have some family that are building these out as well. It's the coolest thing. It is not, it's a standalone AI tool. The idea is it's kind of like you're building a little helper AI agent and it acts as like your personal assistant. And it blew my mind. They're kind of pricey. That's why I didn't go with it. I think it was 500 US a year. And I was like, well, the technology's not quite where I need it, but when it will hit a point. This company used Manus AI. They're out of China and they just got purchased by Facebook, I guess. And I had it sending files and like sending images over WeTransfer just on a command prompt. It blew my mind. I had it create some videos and things like that. You can have it analyze workflows, and it does it at such a high level beyond what ChatGPT can do because it's using this wrapper technology, which basically means it's an app within, like, it's many apps within one app. So it's pulling on language models. Gemini is kind of like this, but different like generative tools for images. It's absolutely crazy, but you guys should definitely test it out and give it the most complex task you can on the 1 week trial because it blew my mind. It's called Manus AI, Manus. But this will be a new thing where we have agents. Basically, it's like having an assistant that can task things out for you. It is not good for very complex tasks just yet. It's not something that I would recommend not monitoring first. But on the vein of like websites and things like that, there have been many cases where people have used Manus to build out websites. And sometimes it might work out to be worth your time or that you have to use like a credit process with them, but it might be worth it on price to have it done because it just builds it out completely with code. So it's pretty darn cool, but I would definitely recommend it. I think it would be probably as close to what Valerie was talking about with her CRM as as anything I've heard of. But yeah, so it's not like a chat bot, it's like an assistant. And the coolest part is, I'm really excited about this one, as you can tell. It tells you where it is in the task. So it has like this little leaderboard on it, and you can see it functioning and doing its thing, and it will fail at certain tasks. So it's learning as it goes. It's really fascinating to watch. But you can say, can you do this thing for me? I was trying to get it to create some design pieces for us without using Canva to like bypass it. And it was tracking along and it said, oh, that didn't work, going back to correct mistake. Like it was very cool. But anyways, Manus AI, check it out. But yeah, that's about it for us, unless there's questions.
I do want to throw in a little bit about framework.
Yes,
That
yes.
I had these ideas for agents and uh, for somebody like me that has, I always feel like I have a lot of ideas, but it's never in a coherent way. So when I started talking to chat, you know, how can I build out what is my process for this? Because I think anybody that's out practicing or doing anything in life, you have a process for it, but typically it lives in our head and it's hard to explain that to somebody else. So, what is my process for a listing appointment and developing your own SOPs for everything that you do is so amazing. But while we're like on that website idea, realtors or any kind of person is always wanting to create leads or create opportunities. So you can go, if I were selling real estate, I would go into my chat and say, can you please make me a downloadable format of the 10 things that I do at open houses for sellers? And then it would be a download where you would get those names and you can create that stuff at such speed that you can continuously have value driven out to the community. So as opposed to always marketing ourselves, the idea has to go to marketing to the consumer. So what can we add to the consumer? And I was just looking at some of my chats. What is the number one thing keeping home buyers awake at night in my area of Woodstock? So, laying out what's going on with jobs and things like that, and then marketing to that message is so important because it helps you really get connected to the consumer. Or I like that city council upcoming. It's helped us for all of our training and agendas. So again, I have all these ideas and pop it in there and laying out a full 60-minute, how we're going to go and doing generated handouts for that. So that could work well in buyer seminars. It could work well at open houses. That calendar idea, popping it into my calendar, a screenshot into there, and it knows me so well that it's like, wow, you're really spending X amount of time here. And like, it's all over, Jenny. You need to like shift here, which has been helpful, right? Because if my calendar's out of whack, I might be out of whack. So those are some of the things, making sure that you are able to use it in a way you're marketing, any kind of marketing or tool that you use, you should be able to track back and how it's going to increase your business. And so one of the ways is with ebooks. I'm going to try it tonight. I'm going to try to create an ebook from this and then send it out to you guys. So we'll try to see if that works. We did that with real estate school as well. And every week we just recorded that real estate school. Can you put this down into a format and I can send it out to people? So the framework is so easy to build out, but for me, it has been able to, I've been able to operate at such a faster level than I would have ever been able to do. Business plans too. How many homes do I want to sell this year? What's my goal, and talk to it like it's your diary. Put your hairy atrocious goal in there and break down your average sale price. And what's that going to do? Can you tell me what I would need to do this month in order to do this? And it will break it down to, you need to do 10 calls, you should do this, that, and it will give you kind of a work partner, an assistant, and even, I've done it for contracts, or we've had emails come into the brokerage about agents, and popping that into AI and saying, this is the thing. Can you help me with a legal response that will keep me in guidelines? So sometimes when you're going into tough conversations with sellers where they're like, my house isn't selling, da, 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 and we're in anxiety, well, this can act as your tool, and bring it back to, oh, your seller's facing fear. This is how you should do it. So it puts another side to it instead of us having everything in our head. And, a lot of days we feel like, I don't know, I just wing it. It's abracadabra. So framework, and then going back and being able to have a full library on absolutely everything that I've talked about it on, because I can circle back into rotation and use those ideas again. So that way, just if you're all over like me, this is the way to get your ideas in a catalog and a format that really works. There's my spew.
It's so true, though. I need it to be organized anymore. I've got a question here from Ben. From your perspective, what's the single easiest low effort habit most real estate agents aren't using yet that AI would allow them to implement immediately in their daily workflow? I feel like I'm super biased because I'm always seeing things from a marketing lens, and to me, it's like scripting your videos. I feel like that's the most boring answer. For me, it's structure. It's like Jen. I think I need structure, and I have a busy brain, and I need a way to organize my ideas. And for me, that's helps me to not write things, but to organize things is very helpful. But I think realtors would get so much more content out there because it would become less about I don't know, the idea generation and more about just hitting go, like just implementing. Valerie.
I just wanted to add on that. I don't know if you guys are using it, but I use the app Teleprompter.
Oh, yes. 100%.
This is I just learned that like I would say maybe a month ago, a month and a half ago. It's a game changer.
It is. And it's like nice because you get kind of better at not looking like you're using it. I think I look like I'm using it, but
No, no, no.
um,
That's why I was asking because you don't look like you're using it. That's why I was asking because and there's a way that you can put your phone.
yeah,
So you look at it and you can, yeah, okay. So if ever someone wants to make video, teleprompter is the second thing, the best second thing to use.
yeah, script it, throw it in. And you can talk more technically. It's less feelings based because I'm in all about the feelings, right? And this way you can actually go through a framework or like a bullet point thing and get those ideas out there without forgetting anything. Because
Yeah,
you do a million cuts, then you can get out in 5 minutes. Ed, what were you
exactly.
gonna say?
I was just going to share with you. I've been dabbling in a lot of different things, image, video, music. But I was going to share something helpful in case nobody's doing it yet. Maybe you all are. If you try it out, any of these image or video programs, and you're finding that you're struggling to get the results you want, go back to your chat GPT and have it write the prompt for what you're trying to achieve in the video or the image. And it gets, like Rachel mentioned, the lighting, it gets all the detail into the prompt to get the end product out that you were looking for. Sometimes you can't put all the emotion into what it was you want in that prompt. ChatGPT, it knows the other programs and it writes the prompts that succeed in in those other programs.
That's genius.
Uh,
Ed is an AI master.
You should be teaching this class, Ed. That's a great idea. I am definitely not doing that. So, yeah. Does anyone else have any cool ways they're using AI that we might not have thought of that you'd like to share? Because we can learn from each other a lot.
One thing I forgot to mention too when we talked about the coding and even sometimes for designs we make is to get colors right or for code, you can re-upload photos back into ChatGPT and then ask it for feedback. So for coding, if I have a problem, I'm taking screenshots of stuff and sending it back in and being like, this is what it looks like. Like, how do I fix this? Or for printable colors, like Rachel and I know pink does not like to print how we see it on our monitor. And you can upload your photo and ask chat, how is this going to print? Do you have color recommendations? What color would go? I love hot pink. Can you give me 2 other colors to go with it? But uploading photos back in, it's crazy to me that it can read code and all that. But yeah, it's cool.
Amazing.
Lauren?
So I've been making a lot of really complex Excel spreadsheets and working in Excel all day, every day. And what I find is for really complex formulas or things that I know older functions of how to use those formulas, I can write my formulas out or I can make it really, really dirty just describing what I need. And if I can get a formula that works, I put that into chat and say, hey, is there a simpler way to do this? Can you simplify this formula? And it will just spit out with all your cell references and everything, it will spit out the simplified version of what you've written out. So you can help it to A, both craft formulas, but B, if you have formulas, but it's really long and messy and complex, take that. And then by doing that, I've also now just learned that new function myself. As much as AI has made it for me, I've now learned that this is a function that exists that I can apply to the rest of my sheets as I'm building them going forward.
That is so cool.
When I first got a new computer, so I'm kind of a nerd with computers, but the technology kind of changes quickly, and if you don't upgrade every couple of years, you miss out on generations of tech. And I wasn't sure which plug was the best one to plug my monitor in. So I just opened up Gemini and I went to live mode and I took a picture and I just held the phone up and I said, what am I looking at? And it like told me what every single port was on the back of the computer and where to plug stuff so that I made sure I got like the best resolution out of the monitor and stuff. It was really cool it was just amazing actually. Like I was blown away by how quick and easy it was.
Awesome.
On that sense, I had a problem with a toilet. Well, my daughter had a problem with a toilet and she went and filmed it with ChatGPT and she said, how do I fix it? And ChatGPT told her all the things that she needed to do. And she called me, she was like, Mom, I think I know how to fix my toilet by myself. So it's an amazing tool. When you use the video and the pictures mode, they're awesome. I use it for everything. Sometimes I'm with clients and we're wondering, like, what do we use that for? And I just use ChatGPT and I'm like, well, ChatGPT says that's what we're using it for.
Lauren, I know I'm calling you and me out here, but this is like Star Trek level, like ship's computer stuff is what this feels like to me some days. It's
Me too.
amazing.
I'm in the
Oh,
Trekkie world
you're
too.
into TNG as well. Wow.
And
Amazing.
that's really the biggest thing I think I've really has just started to click to me is that I need to just start talking to it like I'm asking somebody that's smarter than me. It like asking questions of people, you know, having mentors and asking like, hey, what's your perspective on this? And so starting to talk to chat like I would talk to a person that knows more and just asking it questions, just musings and letting it kind of go from there because then I find it's really cool because it will start suggesting it's like, hey, that was a great question. Let's dig deeper. Do you want me to show you this cool statistic? And it will kind of also you'll go back and forth. So it's kind of neat just starting to make that realization that I'm not just typing in my keywords that I used to type into Google, but like having a full question and also learning that the more I can dump into my first prompt, like I'm very much I would send 5 different text messages or write things that I'm just learning. I'm like, no, just dump it all in and let it go. You get a better result the more you just kind of throw in there at first. So those are a couple of the epiphanies I've been seeming to have in the last couple of months as I've been using it more and more each day.
That's awesome. I talk into it as well. Like I don't even type that much with it anymore because I find it really understands just it, I don't know, it understands isn't the right word, but it seems to pick up on that flow of language well and it flows nicely. And then it gives you a really human-like response, for lack of a better. I have to confess, I had. So you're talking to us in AI, huh, Ben? And I also use my please and thank yous. We have some jokes about that one. When the AI overlords take over, they'll remember us, the nice ones. Uh, that's great. Any other exciting uses that you've tried? I'm like obsessed with the formulas for Excel. Like I never would have thought of that. Oh, Jen, I think you're muted. I don't know.
I said I'm never trying to use Excel. I'm going to much smarter people.
You're bypassing AI and going right to the Excel guru.
I use it to create some clause for my promise to purchase.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a particular situation. We're selling a house and there's some infrastructure taxes that needs to be paid and the city won't take the payment before 2028. So I had to write in a clause. So I put everything that the city had given me, the rules and everything, and I said, create a clause based on the civil code because we're in Quebec, so it's not the same laws as in Ontario, that each agent that present a promise to purchase will have to add, and it created a clause. So I use it a lot to create clause.
That's really cool. I had dropped in the chat about we have our city council meetings recorded. You could take the meetings, just the video link, pop that into Notebook AI and ask it to summarize the meetings for you so you can pass that data along to your clients, like about any changes to the city. Obviously, you might want to double check some things, but not every meeting is that exciting. So you can kind of get a general idea of who voted for what and just different things that might be of interest and understanding some projects that they're working on. I feel like that would be kind of cool for real estate. And you could blog about it too, and then increase your GEO.
So good. Well, guys, are you guys all going to download our new AI book when we're done, or when we send you the link? Thank you all for jumping on. I hope this was valuable, and any questions, go to Chelsea or Rachel. And I appreciate you all.
Thanks, everyone. That was fun.